I moved to my cousin's house after my relationship ended. She lived in a small town surrounded by hills and quiet roads, far from the noise of the city. I wasn't ready to talk about what happened, so I spent my days helping round the house, taking walks, and reading. Most of the time I just sat by the window, feeling the weight in my chest and wondering if it would ever lift. On the fourth night, I had a dream. I was walking through a glowing field toward a village I had never seen before. Small wooden houses lined narrow paths, and soft lanterns hung outside every door. The air was calm, and I felt more peaceful than I had in weeks. There were no people, but I could hear music like a distant music box calling me forward. In the center of the village stood a tall tree with a bench beneath it. An older woman with silver hair sat there, smiling as if she knew me. "You found it," she said. "You're ready." Before I could ask what she meant, she pointed behind me. Two doors stood alone in the field. "One will show you the truth," she said. "The other will give you rest. You must choose." Then the dream ended. The next night, the dream returned. The woman waited, but I couldn't choose. I only stared at the doors until I woke. By the sixth night, I finally stepped through the door on the left. Inside was a room filled with mirrors. Each one showed a memory. I saw myself as a child feeling ignored. I saw my ex turning away. I saw myself lying to my best friend because I was too ashamed to admit I was hurting. In the final mirror, I saw myself 10 years older, sitting alone in a kitchen. I looked peaceful, but deeply lonely. I woke shaken. The images stayed with me all day. That night, the village appeared again, but this time flowers lined the paths, and the woman greeted me warmly. "You came back," she said. "That means something." I sat beside her and she pointed to a book on the ground. Inside, only one page had words. It said, "You can leave the pain, but not the lesson." I read it twice, and when I looked up, she was gone. The next morning, something in me had shifted. I told my cousin about the dreams. She didn't laugh. She told me that when she first moved to this town, she had dreams that helped her understand what to carry and what to let go. Her words made me feel less alone. For a few nights, the dream didn't return. Then, on the 9th night, I saw the village again, but it was raining. The lanterns were out and the tree had no leaves. On the bench was a small wooden box. Inside was a letter that read, "You know the choice now. What will you do with it?" As the dream faded, I understood. The choice wasn't between doors or paths. It was between staying in my past or building something new. I woke with tears on my face, but they were tears of relief. In the days that followed, I began to see patterns in my life. My father had left when I was 9, and I had spent years trying to prove I was enough. I had pushed away my best friend before she could hurt me. I had hidden my emotions from my boyfriend until he gave up. Every time I tried to protect myself, I lost something important. I told my cousin some of these things. She listened without judgment and hugged me. "You're doing the hard work," she said. That night, the village returned, and this time a small girl walked toward me. She looked about 8 years old. Without speaking, she sat beside me and held my hand. I knew she was my younger self. She whispered, "You made it here." That's all I wanted. I woke crying again, but this time the tears came from peace. I started writing in a notebook, filling it with thoughts and unsent letters. One morning, I took the notebook into the forest and placed it inside the hollow of a tree. It was my way of letting go without forgetting. A few days later, my old friend called. I told her I missed her and that I had made mistakes. We talked for over an hour. It didn't fix everything, but it was a beginning. Soon after, I got a job offer near the coast. I moved into a small flat by the sea and started over. The work was quiet and the life was slow, but I felt settled. The dreams came less often now, and when they did, the village was brighter. People appeared in the streets, planting flowers and playing music. The village was growing, and so was I one night. The old woman returned. She handed me a book titled Things I Know Now. Every page was filled with lessons about love, fear, forgiveness, and time. Before I awoke, she said, "You didn't come here to forget. You came here to remember who you are." I carried those words with me. I met new people. I joined a reading group. I made friends. One evening, a neighbor named Lena asked if I had ever had a dream that stayed with me. I told her about the village, and she told me about a house by a river she visited in her sleep. Maybe, I thought, everyone has their own secret place that appears when they're ready. That night, I dreamed of the village one last time. It was full of light and celebration. In the distance stood a new door with a note that read, "Only open this if you're ready." I touched the handle and the dream ended. I woke, knowing I didn't need to open it yet, but one day I would. I called my mother that morning. We hadn't spoken deeply in years, but we talked for an hour about memories and regrets. After the call, I felt lighter. I started keeping a journal of real moments, small joys, kind words, quiet strength. I began to notice how much good surrounded me. One evening, I stood outside under the stars and realized I felt whole. Not perfect, not finished, but whole. I didn't know if the village would return, but I didn't need it anymore. It had shown me my pain and my strength. It had given me choices and helped me make peace. And now it had led me home to myself.